We're talking about the greatest video games of all time. Who doesn't have their favorite? I'm telling you, I do. Whenever I was in, I believe, let's just say second grade, maybe third grade, fourth grade, I was obsessed with possibly the greatest video game ever made. Super Mario Brothers 3. I'm telling you, the way I saw this for the very first time was watching a movie called The Wizard, and they debuted it in a way that nobody has ever seen in video games before or ever again. They debuted it in a movie, so people were excited after watching the movie to go and buy the game. Super Mario Brothers 3, the game that I believe changed it all. It went from a simple, basic video game about a plumber collecting mushrooms and stars to becoming, I guess, an adventure that people talked about once they beat it forever. It is one of the first games that I ever beat on my own that still gives me that feeling of accomplishment to this day. Like, I remember the moment we beat it. And I was with my brother and I was with two other guys, Billy and Jimmy, one of which is dead nowadays, so I had to take it down in that deep, sad state for a little bit. But we'll bring it back up because once we beat it, it was almost like we just won the Super Bowl. In order to beat this game, we needed a magazine. We needed the Super Nintendo Power magazine. We needed to figure out ways to actually get the whistle, to take it from one level to the next, to beat certain levels that you couldn't do without having, I guess you could say, the cheats to find out through the magazine where to get the certain whistles to skip over levels. I can't tell you the feeling of whenever we got to King Koopa and it was actually able to save the princess once and for all. I still think about, like, even my first book that I ever read, start to finish, on my own without anybody telling me something, telling me to read it. It was a book called Hatchet. And I remember how exciting it was to read that and accomplish it. And it was the exact same thing with this. Like, you embark on this journey. You go through hours and hours of pain and excitement and ups and downs. And all of a sudden, you're able to be on the other side saying, I was one of the human beings on this planet that beat Super Mario Brothers 3. Still, to this day, I don't remember a game that ever meant that much to me. I got into Super Mario Brothers 1, obviously. That was one of the other first games I ever beat. I got into Blades of Steel. I got into the Mike Tyson Punch-Out, the Excite Bike, another incredible game. But to go on a journey, to spend hours to beat something, to share it with other individuals at that age, nothing can touch it. I'm sure there's a game out there that you can think of that still gives you excitement to even talk about because you were able to beat it. Maybe there is something to beating it that makes it your favorite. I'm sure there's a game out there that you really love, but because you couldn't beat it, you didn't love it as much as you should have. Maybe there's something about fulfillment and accomplishment. I don't know what it is, but there is something to it with this game. The stuff that maybe happens by way of, you know, skipping levels and certain things that you couldn't do in level or game number 1 and game number 2. Maybe there's something to that where it was just like so many add-ons that were surprising you as you were going through it that does something. Or maybe it was sharing with other individuals that gives you that memory. Is it the memory that makes you love the game so much? Because I haven't played it in years, but I loved it so much that to me, I'm 35 years old now. I can still think back whenever I was 9 years old playing this day in and day out with my buddies after school who didn't even go to the same school as us, but we were such good friends for that brief moment because of this game. It bonded us. It brought us together. A little bit of unity by way of a video game. I'm a big motorcycle rider. I love doing action sports, doing a bunch of cool stuff, hiking. Wherever I go, I take my GoPro and I use that for not only personal but also business. So if you guys are out there, I don't look at any competitors. I think GoPro is the best way to go, so check it out. Best camera system, by yourself, solo. I beat the hell out of it and it's still rolling. So check it out, GoPro. I got the Hero 7. You can get the newest one. They're both badass. And video games do that with a lot of friends. Brings people together online now, more so than actually in a house, but it does do something. And I just think that everybody has their own favorite video game for a reason. So I'd love to hear why you have a favorite video game, what it means to you, what game, how old were you? Paint that picture for us. Put it down below, comment. I'd love to hear it because maybe I can chime in on some of the games that we were obsessed with growing up back in the 90s. Eventually we got into the Doom. I can't imagine any other first-person shooter that can beat Doom. I mean, Rise of the Triad. A couple notable mentions here. Excitebike, Duke Nukem 3D. This is the greatest online game in my eyes. These games changed my life. They shaped my youth, probably 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, until I got into senior year, and then all of a sudden I've heard of a thing called alcohol. And then we started partying in the woods, and it got a little bit wild. We got away from the video games, but I still think back. Super Mario Bros. 3, best game in my eyes of all time because of what it meant to me, the memories, and some of the things that I still think about. So comment down below. I want to hear it. Rockstars Dream. We give reviews on new video games, old video games. We just did one about Excitebike, so check out that video if you're out there. Rockstars Dream. It's for those who want it all, and damn it, you deserve it.